look at tonight's 2-game NHL slate on Draftkings. We've got the Rangers and the Hurricanes up first, followed by Colorado and Dallas. If we're looking at the targetability ratings for our 4 teams tonight, Dallas comes in at the top mark with 21.6, followed by Carolina, Colorado, and then the Rangers. But those other 3 teams are relatively similar. Carolina's at 15.9, New York's at 13.6, less than 3 points separating those 3 teams. So those 3 are all pretty interchangeable. Dallas leads the way in large part because of Georgiev's stats. He has the highest goals against average, the worst save percentage, both during the regular season and during the playoffs of all 4 goalies that are getting the start tonight. And so that makes Dallas in probably the best matchup on the slate tonight. We should also note that Kochetkov is getting the start for Freddie Anderson, and Kochetkov has not played at all in the playoffs, so I used his goals against average and his save percentage for his playoff stats. But if he gets more starts, we'll update accordingly. That does make the Rangers a little more interesting. Again, Kochetkov hasn't played in a while, hasn't played at all in the playoffs. He's the backup to Anderson, so that could make the Rangers a more desirable target, even though they have the lowest targetability rating on the slate. So looking at the today's targets column, Dallas 1 comes in with the highest rating, so I have them listed as the top stack. But Dallas's top line has not been good really at all during the playoffs. I think they might have had one decent game against Vegas in the first round. But they're at home in the best matchup with the highest targetability rating, so Dallas 1 grades out as the best play. Wyatt Johnston is getting moved back to the top line. He was there a few games ago. They've kind of been shuffling. Johnston, Pavelski was there most of the season, and they even tried Stankoven on that top line. It seems like they're just trying to find something that gets Robertson and Hintz going. If you look at their last 5 game stats, Robertson has 9 shots and 2 points. Hintz has 5 shots in the last 5 games and 1 point. Johnston, who is typically playing on the second line, has actually been the best of those by far. In the last 5 games, Wyatt Johnston has 17 shots and 5 points. So hopefully he can jumpstart Robertson and Hintz if you're playing Dallas 1, and I think I might go back to them even though they've been so sluggish during these playoffs. The only problem is Johnston doesn't offer power play correlation. Wyatt Johnston plays on the second power play line, while Hintz and Robertson get top power play minutes. So that does make it a little less forgiving to play that Dallas stack, as you're hoping they score at even strength. Now you can also go to the second line here. Duchesne has been pretty good. Ben's been pretty good. Stankoven's been, I guess, fine for a rookie that's super cheap on DraftKings. But Ben and Duchesne plus, well, I guess you can't really do that because Ben plays on the top power play and Duchesne plays on the second power play. So none of Dallas's scoring lines have a comfortable power play correlation to them. So if you go with Dallas 1, I would just go with the full line 1 stack of Robertson, Hintz, and Johnston and hope they score at even strength. You could also use Heiskanen then, and then you get, obviously they have the potential for even strength correlation, but that gives 3 of your 4 power play correlation too, with Heiskanen, Hintz, and Robertson. And I don't hate that if you're going to go with the Dallas 1 finally explodes option for tonight. And the second thing that stands out is that the other 3 teams are all relatively even in targetability. You can kind of mix and match there, go with your favorite, or go based on your goalie. So start with Dallas 1, pick your goalie, and then use whatever team you didn't play your goalie from as your other 2 skaters. I don't love the idea of playing Kochetkov from a stats perspective. As a backup goalie, the highest salary of the 4 goalies starting tonight in the lowest shot matchup. So the other 3, Carolina, Colorado, and Dallas, have all been good at putting shots on goal, some of the best in the league during the regular season and some of the best in the playoffs, which gives our goalies save upside. The Rangers, however, have been scoring well toward the best in the league, but they're averaging something like 10 fewer shots a game than the Carolina, Colorado, and Dallases. So that makes it hard for Kochetkov to hit value unless he only gives up like 1 goal or fewer, obviously. So, and at the highest salary, that doesn't feel great to lock into your lineup in a tough matchup with lower upside. On the flip side of that, though, because we are looking at these 2 game slates, you have to be willing to be contrarian to differentiate yourself. And it's almost like you do the opposite of what the stats tell you, because less people are going to do it, and that's how you win a tournament on a small slate like tonight. So your other option then is to be like, okay, Kochetkov is obviously the worst goalie play. He's the most expensive with the lowest save upside. I'm going to lock him in because he's going to be the lowest owned. And then you could build around Kochetkov because Carolina 1 is great and they have power play correlation. So my full contrarian approach would be play Kochetkov in Carolina 1 and then try to fill in with Dallas and Colorado 2 after you do that. I also like to try to find some cheap shot blocking defensemen, guys that have a realistic shot at hitting the 3 blocks bonus, get us that sweet bonus points, and then we can feel okay about spending up elsewhere. The problem is no one stands out from these 2 series that are also cheap. So we have some great shot blocking. The Rangers in particular have been in a really good shot blocking matchup. Carolina had their shots blocked at the highest rate in the league during the regular season and at the highest rate in the league during the playoffs as well. The Rangers are a good shot blocking team. The problem is that it's pretty much Jacob Trouba blocking every shot. He seems to block more and more shots every game. I think he had 6 blocks in game 1 and like 9 block shots in game 2, which that's just absurd numbers for him. In fact, let's go look at his last 5 just for curiosity's sake. I checked it when I made the sheet yesterday, and I remember it being a crazy stat. Jacob Trouba has 31 blocks in his last 5 games. That's over 6 block shots a game. That's nuts. Now, of course, Trouba is priced up at this point. He doesn't even come close to qualifying as a cheap shot blocking defenseman, but I can't not mention Trouba and the way he's playing and blocking shots during these playoffs. So 4,700 for Trouba. If you have 4,700, great. I'd play Trouba all day at that price. But if you want to go down to someone a little bit cheaper, Asa Lindell's been blocking shots recently. Chris Tanev's been blocking shots for Dallas throughout the whole playoffs. They're 4K and 3.9. And then, again, Trouba's the only one really blocking shots consistently for the Rangers. Braden Schneider, I think, hit the blocks bonus last game. Keandre Miller was blocking shots relatively well in their first series, but I don't think he had any blocks last game. I think one of those 2 is okay if you really need to save money. Schneider's 33 and Miller's 3,400. So again, no one's super cheap. Trouba's obviously the best, sub 5K defenseman, at least if you're looking for block shots. He's been a lock to get the blocks bonus. He's been playing 20-plus minutes. I like him. If I can get him in, I feel great about it. So I think that pretty much covers it. Overall, the takeaways, Dallas is in the best spot, but Dallas 1 has been really hard to trust, especially in the playoffs. They've been a disappointment. If you feel like Dallas 1 gets on track because they're back at home, Robertson and Hintz finally start doing something, I think Robertson, Hintz, Johnston, Heiskanen makes a lot of sense as your main stack. If you don't, or if you want to be more contrarian, I like Carolina 1 playing Kochetkov in net just because he's going to be the lowest owned. Gives yourself a chance to take a tournament down. And then Colorado 2 and the Rangers are interchangeable after that. Play whoever you don't have in goal. So if you're playing Carolina's goalie, then fill out with Colorado. If you're playing someone else, then avoid the goalie avoid the team that your goalie's playing against, obviously. Okay, I think that pretty much covers it for my thought process for tonight. We don't have confirmed goalies in all the games, but we do know Kochetkov is starting, and I imagine Shesterkin. I think Georgiev's probable too, but I imagine Shesterkin and Otger get the go for the Rangers and the Stars tonight. But if something changes, I'll update it here, and we can see how it affects the targetability ratings. If there's anything else that you all want to see, like projected shots or expected shots on goal or anything like that, any other stats or information that would be useful to you, just let me know, and I can find a way to add it to the sheet. Other than that, I think that covers everything for tonight. The sheet is linked in the description down below. Good luck, everybody.